Welcome to Task 6 of the Technology Preparation and Setup for Windows 10. This section is designed to help you figure out installation order and which software applications you should install. This section will also cover how to obtain, download, and install and authorize any of the applications if they need those things. Installation order matters. We typically install the applications that are the most pickiest about having an unaltered operating system first. Then we install applications that are less choosy. Finally, we end our installation with software that is not particular at all about the state of the operating system. So I'm going to show you a diagram, and it will explain about each application set and which professions might use them. So starting with the installation, the very first thing you want to do is make sure that you have met all of the prerequisites. In the prerequisites section, it's going to cover variables commonly responsible for failed installations. So basically what that's going to be is configuring your power management, and what this section will do is show you how to prevent your computer from falling asleep during an installation. Now normally this is not supposed to happen, but we see sometimes this happens. So for example, your monitor might fall asleep and you can't wake it up, so you can't tell if the installation is done or if it's still going or if the computer has locked up. So those are the sort of things we don't want to happen during an installation. The next one is to configure folder options. And this is going to allow you to see more details about files and folders, such as if the file ends with an exe or a PDF or an MSI. The next one is to disable Trend Micro temporarily. And the reason why we need to do this is because some applications may not download or may not run because it times out, because Trend Micro may be holding on to that file because it is scanning it. So if we know that the file is safe, chances are we probably don't need to run Trend Micro while we are downloading and installing those files. The next one is to enable .NET Framework 3.5. There are some applications out there that still require .NET Framework 3.5. So if you're running Windows 10, chances are you're running a much more newer version of .NET Framework, meaning that some of the older applications may not be able to run without this .NET Framework 3.5. The next one is the time zone. So some applications are very sensitive to this and may not work until you are in the correct time zone. This is mostly an issue with students who are coming in from out of state or who are international from the other side of the world. So if your computer is not configured in the correct time zone, you may find that you may also have difficulties joining the college network later on in the technology preparation and setup process. Once you have all of the prerequisites done, you're going to want to then move on to installing Google Chrome. And the reason why we're going to install Google Chrome first is because we need the ability to download very large files and for the browser to basically not bomb the installation. And the reason for that is because large files tend to take a very long time to download, so you don't want to be 90% complete and it took you a half a day to download this, and for some reason the download doesn't complete because your browser bombs out or whatever, it just can't handle large files. So we do know that Google Chrome can handle large files. So the very first thing we'll cover is how to obtain, download, and install Google Chrome, which is relatively easy to do, and then how to configure it. And basically, we're going to try to get the most out of Google Chrome by configuring it to control where files download and to utilize other useful things about Google Chrome. After that, we're going to jump right into installing the Autodesk software. Pretty much everyone in the college needs this software, except for maybe if you're a planner. So these are what they call the CAD products, or the computer-aided drafting products. Today they're more geared towards building or landscape information modeling. So the three most commonly downloaded applications in our college is going to be the Civil 3D, the 3D Studio Max, and the Revit applications. Students do tend to also download plain AutoCAD, but that's not used as much today. So the first thing I'll cover is how to log in, the download options, some file management, downloading the installer to the correct location, the installation, and then the first run and activation. Then we'll jump right into 7-zip. So this one is mostly needed by our landscape architects and planners, and by anybody else who needs to unzip very large files. So we're talking files that are around 500 megs or larger. We found that the built-in Windows zip software doesn't handle very large files very well. So this is why we use 7-zip. 7-zip is free, just like Autodesk is free. All you have to do is create an account and then use your ksu.edu email address and you can get this for free. 7-zip is free to everyone in the whole wide world, so you don't need a ksu.edu email address to download 7-zip. So I'll cover how to obtain 7-zip, how to install 7-zip, and then from there we'll jump right into installing virtual private networking. Now you're probably wondering, do I need to install VPN? And that's the short version of virtual private networking, just taking the first letters of each word here. And the answer to that is, do you want to work from home? So do you want to connect to your machine that's on campus and work from home? So what VPN basically is going to allow you to do is to remote connect your computer from home to campus. It will also allow you to access servers that are on campus from home. So in this section I'll cover what VPN is, why we use it, how to obtain and install VPN, and then how to use VPN. And then we'll jump right into Esri. And now you're probably wondering, well, why did we need to install VPN before Esri? Well, as you can imagine, the Esri software is located on our college server. So if you need to install the Esri software, so if you're in landscape architecture and planning, you'll definitely need this. That means you'll definitely need to install the virtual private networking software as well. So again, in order to access the Esri software, you will need to connect to the college servers. And if you're doing this from home, you will need the virtual private networking software. So ArcGIS is offered through a KSU site license. You will not need to purchase this one either, and VPN is also free. The very first thing I will talk about is how to access the software, how to download the software, how to install the ArcGIS Advanced Desktop application, which is the core application, how to install the data interoperability extension, how to install ArcHydro, how to authorize ArcGIS so that you can run it. So again, this one is offered through the KSU site license. Chances are you've already paid for this through your tuition, which means you don't need to give extra dollars to obtain this software. This software will already be accessible to you through a university site license. The next one is Microsoft Office. So in this tutorial, I will be covering how to install Microsoft Office. So again, this one, just like Esri ArcGIS, is offered through a KSU site license, which means you don't need to purchase it because you already have. If you are in the College of Architecture, Planning, and Design, you're going to need to install Microsoft Office regardless of the curriculum of study that you're in. Everyone is pretty much going to need to use a Word editor, a PowerPoint software, Access database, Excel, so on and so forth. So this section will talk about Microsoft Office a little bit. It'll also explain how to obtain the Microsoft Office software, how to install Office, and how to update Office. So again, this one is already given to you. This set of tutorials is just going to show you how to access it. You've already paid for it. You don't need to buy it twice. So I recommend not buying it twice. And you can have Microsoft Office installed on, I think, up to 5 devices. So you could have it on a laptop, a desktop, and a computer at home. So each student can install, I think it's either 4 or 5 locations. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know that the tutorial will cover exactly how many devices you can install Microsoft Office to. The next one is going to be Trend Micro. So we want everybody to be virus free. And antivirus is offered through a KSU site license. You will not need to purchase this because you've already purchased it as part of your tuition. So definitely don't buy secondary antivirus software because you'll already have access to it. So in this section I'll talk a little bit about the antivirus and the fact that it's university policy that pretty much everyone who plans to plug anything into the university network, whether it be through a cable or through wireless, needs to have some antivirus software installed on it, and the university requires that we use Trend Micro. The next subsection will cover how to obtain the antivirus, how to install the antivirus, how to update the antivirus. Then we'll jump right into how to install SketchUp. So this is obviously the least invasive application since it's one of our last ones we're going to install. So this is a non-parametric freeform vector-based 3D modeler used for creating quick sketches or diagrams. Now if you're in landscape architecture and planning, you will definitely need to install SketchUp. If you're in planning, this is more optional. You can definitely use the computer lab SketchUp. If you are in architecture or interior, I would ask your studio professor to see if you need to install SketchUp. Chances are you may not need to. So this section covers how to obtain the SketchUp software, how to install the SketchUp software, and how to authorize SketchUp. So SketchUp is not free. This is something that you're going to have to pay for, and the cost is usually about $49.99. There might be some additional fees in there, like for tax and stuff, so figure on it being about $50. The next one here is Google Earth, and Google Earth is free. This is optional, so if you want to install it, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's just one of those I guess they're kind of like a widget or something that some people find useful. So it's a useful application for locating your project site and referencing elevations. The installation of Google Earth is pretty straightforward. It's pretty much like Google Chrome. There's not so much configuring that you need to do with Google Earth. And then finally, there are other applications that are not listed here, and many of them are going to be related to your particular course of study. So for example, if your particular course of study uses Rhino, you'll need to obtain Rhino. I don't think Rhino is free to students. It may cost. Your professor may have a discount for you, so definitely don't go out and purchase it now. I would definitely wait until you get your course syllabus on the first day and then ask your professor if there's a way that you can get Rhino at a discounted price. A lot of times, places like Rhino will offer a bulk academic discount, especially if there's more than one person purchasing. So definitely wait until the first day of classes when you get your course syllabus to know for sure if you need Rhino or other applications, and try to take advantage, of course, of bulk discounts and academic discounts. And that is the end of this task. So what I've just shown you is the basic overall workflow of how you're going to complete task 6. So as you can imagine, task 6 is nothing but installing software. That's all it's about.